Recognize the clerk for communication and a motion, please.
From Robert Gabriel regarding contract award for community branding consulting services. I'd move to accept, place on file, and award Phase 1 of the contract to North Star Destination Strategies in the amount of $75,000 and Phase 2 of the contract to Mesh Interactive Agency in the amount of $30,000.
As far as the things that the citizens will see, primarily a lot of research and then recommendations about what the brand might be. And for the second phase, that's more, I think, concrete for constituents to see, which will be, I think, they're going to see what they call a reskinning of the website, potentially, with color changes and tagline, maybe. Phase 1, that work should be completed. They'll work probably through August. And then Phase 2, they'll start probably a month before Phase 1 ends, and they should be completed working through October. Economic Development Director Tom Galligani and Chris Williams here from the Chamber have been working collaboratively on the shared purpose of creating a branding campaign for the City of Nashua. Together, the City and the Chamber have brought people to the table, and the team is well on their way to unveiling a final product in the fall.
Thank you so much. As Tom said, my name is Jennifer Williams. I am the brand supervisor with North Star Destination Strategies, and we are the company working with the city and the chamber on this joint branding initiative.
Just a quick follow-up. I probably missed it at the beginning. Is there a timeline about how long you think this process takes?
Yeah, I think we are set to be wrapped up sometime in October with the final report.
Thank you for having us this evening. We're hopeful to give you a concise presentation on the status of our branding initiative. We're about halfway through in terms of the scope of the work that we're intending to perform, and about two-thirds of the way in terms of time. This is an initiative project that we hope to finish with the start of the new year, either in January or February, where at the end of the day we'll have a really well-defined brand for the City of Nashua, as well as logo, tagline, and all the other items that you might expect, along with a branding program.
Let me fill you in on some other things I see coming into clearer focus or are on the horizon, such as the city branding project. Both the city and the chamber recognize the need to develop a consistent and powerful brand for Nashua. Phase 1 was an in-depth research phase of the project that included multiple consumer and resident surveys, focus groups, and site visits, and that part has been completed. Phase 2, called the creative work, is well underway, and we expect to roll out the new branding platform sometime in the spring of 2013.
Alderman Donchis.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I had a question for Mayor Lozo, which is related to the branding project. When I believe North Star came to us in November, the Economic Development Director told us that we could expect a bunch of materials, a website redesign or a logo, etc., by February. And February has passed, so I'm just curious as to what happened or with the project and why the delay and where do we stand at this point.
Mayor Lozo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can't recall what dates were given, but I do know that the branding initiative should be coming to a chamber near you anytime now.
I wanted to talk about our city branding initiative, and I wanted to give you a brief update. We began the research phase roughly really kicked off in May of 2012 when the consultant team came out here and did a visit here in Nashua, and much of that research concluded in January of 2013. From there we moved into the creative phase, which started in February and will probably conclude in August of 2013, so a month away.
Tom, I read in the paper that the city is hiring some photographers or videographers to put together some videos related to this.
Yes.
Where does that? That's not the two that you. That's a third entity that's involved.
Grant Morris, who is the local videographer, we've retained him to develop some video elements.
That's a third third entity that's going to be part of this branding.
Yeah, there'll be more than that, likely.
Okay. I've had the impression that the Board of Aldermen will be the entity that makes a final approval of this.
That was not our plan and what we had presented.
Many of you already are familiar with MESH. Bill is the principal of MESH, sitting to my right, and to his right is another of his staff members, Linda LaFleur, which is probably a very familiar name to many of you. She used to work here for the city in the Economic Development Office. After they came up with that tagline, they then developed the logo, the colors, and all of that, and they are now in Phase 3. We have set September as our tentative launch date or launch time frame for being able to unveil all of this.